I want to kick things off this week a little bit differently. I've been working on a theory, and I'm ready to for it to see the light of day. And that theory revolves around Arthur Smith. So let's have a conversation about Arthur Smith. Who is he? What is he doing? And why do we all hate him? And then my theory on how all this ties together. So Arthur Smith, coach of the Atlanta Falcons, is an absolute menace to society and to fantasy football. The Falcons are the only team in the NFL with three skill position players drafted in the first 10 picks of the draft: Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson. Three absolutely studly skill position players. Okay. Arthur Smith is a son of the FedEx founder Fred Smith. Fred Smith, multi-time billionaire. Uh, he revolutionized the privatization of parcel shipping throughout the United States with the use of airplanes. Airplanes, key for the theory. Arthur Smith has been a contrarian his entire life. He's one of 10. So, of course, Fred Smith, the billionaire, big fan of procreation, that guy. Most billionaires are for some reason. They think their seed is the greatest seed that has ever been sown, and they must spread it across the land. Arthur Smith is one of 10. A lot of times, sons and daughters of these uber rich people, they go on to just kind of having mundane lives and coasting off of all the successes, right? Arthur Smith probably could have just enjoyed his life as a high school history teacher, but still just had those billions and billions of dollars because of his father, and would have lived a very happy life. But instead, he decided he wanted to coach football. But not just coach football, but coach in the NFL. And you kind of get what you want when you're a billionaire's kid. So now Arthur Smith is one of only 30 individuals in the entire world with that job. That job being an NFL coach. Okay. So how is Arthur Smith, being such a contrarian, connected to his father, and why we all hate him in fantasy football? So FedEx revolutionized the parcel shipping industry by introducing faster shipping with planes. They took to the air, they took to the skies. After one of the wars, Fred Smith came back. He was a pilot. He decided that he wanted to introduce flight into parcel shipping. So, Arthur Smith, son of a billionaire, what did he do? He hates his father. He hates the things his father created. This is the theory part. I don't know if he actually hates his dad. But he just needed to do the opposite of what his father did in order to succeed. So his father took to the air, he took to the ground. Arthur Smith does anything and everything he can to just do the opposite. Football's going in the air, planes going in the air, football's going in the air. No. We need to go to the ground. Fuck it. Let's run the football. Pass the ball to generational tight end prospect Kyle Pitts? No, thank you. He wanted to run the football with Cordarrelle Patterson, a journeyman return specialist, because he doesn't want things to go in the air. We have a top pick. They had a top pick in the last 3 drafts. So do you think they're going to take a quarterback? Lots of good quarterbacks in the last 3 drafts. Nope. They're going to take a running back. They took Bijan Robinson this year. Do they need a wide receiver? Well, lots of teams need wide receivers, but most of those teams pass. So they drafted Drake London. Drake London is a stud wide receiver prospect. They just never pass him the fucking ball. And then, on top of all of this, in the last game, Arthur Smith decided that he wasn't even going to run it with his generational running back prospect. He was going to run it with a bunch of veterans, and then get mad at people when they ask him, hey, why didn't you use that Mustard fellow? And he's like, want to talk about climate change? Fuck this guy. Now, back to regular bits. This week's Boom Bust Bench is brought to you by our newest sponsor, Digitus Go. Digitas? Digitas sounds cooler. Digitas Go is the sponsor of the week, where speed meets excellence and where American financial institutions turn to TikTok to brainwash today's youth. Boom, bust, bench. Who went boom? Who went bust? And who was on your bench that could have won you the week? Let's start with boom. Congratulations, Sean, on the number one running back of the week, D'Onta Foreman. D'Onta Foreman, I think, has been on everybody's team at least one time over the past 7 years. This man is the ultimate journeyman running back. He's had success with multiple NFL teams, but nobody seems to really ever care. So here he is winning you the week. Sean's had a lot of bad luck this season. Nick Chubb getting hurt, and then general team management silliness. He hasn't had a lot of wins. So to get one stroke of good luck with 3 touchdowns and over 100 scrimmage yards from D'Onta Foreman means Sean O gets a win and the boom of the week. D'Onta Foreman may never play a game like this in the rest of his career, but that's all right because Sean's basically playing DFS in a season long, and sometimes it works. Sometimes you have to take an old classic car out for one last spin around the block. So, congrats, Sean. Bust of the week. I'll keep it short. We already talked about it. Bijan Robinson. Arthur Smith is a fucking rich meatball. And because of this rich meatball, Signe, you lost a Bula. I don't know what to tell you, except for somehow we got to get rid of this guy. And by this guy, I mean Arthur Smith. Bench of the week. We didn't really have anyone that really qualified for bench of the week. With all of the buys and all of the injuries that have been happening, I can only find one player who scored even a significant amount of points on someone's bench, but it wasn't enough for a win. So, no bench of the week this week. Let's have an around the league check-in now that we're halfway through the season. Fantasy football regular season is 13 weeks. We're 7 weeks in, so that means halfway. PEMDAS. So, big story this year. Pete has taken the league by storm, going undefeated through the first 7 games. This is pretty good. Not going to lie. It is rare, though, that somebody takes the number 1 overall pick and actually sees sustained success with it. A lot of times the number 1 pick actually isn't where you want to be. But hey, so far so good. It's working. So kudos to Pete. In the last 3 weeks, Pete's actually been the number 1 scorer each of those 3 weeks. So he's not really getting lucky with matchups. He's really just performing. So well done, Pete. Keep it up. Or not. Let's go with not. Sitting at number 2, we have Tim and Chiefs Beefs. He's riding the Chiefs, man, just like Taylor Swift. If Mahomes, Kelsey, and Pacheco perform well, Tim gets a win. If not, he doesn't. It's simple as that. Tim's teams have predominantly contained small players that were the ones that score all the points. A couple years ago we had the bit boom bust Timmy D, and it seems to keep holding true. This time it's just all the Chiefs. If there's one injury here or the Chiefs start to slide a little bit, it might not look good for our friend Timothy. So those are the top 2 this season. Those are the only teams with 6 or more wins, and the real 1%ers of the season. Everybody else kind of falls into the imaginary football proletariat, or the fantasy football middle class, as we've been calling it. 4 wins gets you to 3rd place, and 2 wins is last place. That means 2 wins right now separates SAT participants from playoff contenders. Everything's really tight down here as we're all fighting for the scraps that the 1%ers are leaving behind. So, let's take a look at the rear. That is Signe, Alex, Trevor, and Meg. All having 2 wins. All, we can go input, output, outcome, all that kind of jazz again. We're going to keep it a little bit simpler this time. Meg is a team that can win. This graphic shows that she's 18% under her expected winning percentage by points in a given week, which is roughly 1 win. So she should be, she should be 1 win better than she is. Signe is actually the same, but her whole season can be explained by a late round Mostert pick and having 0 wide receiver talent, right? So that's some big weeks, some not big weeks. Trevor and Alex are both under 14% difference with their expected winning percentage, which is not statistically significant enough to say it should be a win in one direction or the other. So their circumstances really are completely their own damn faults. This isn't luck. This isn't unluck. This is just free will. They've made choices. Trevor traded his picks. Alex didn't make her own picks. That's all free will. Let's jump to the 4-3 teams. The teams, though, that I would describe as treading water, heads just above water, but could start drowning at really any second here. Al, Brennan, and myself, we're surviving. Right now, two of us are in the playoffs, but it does not feel like a success. So the AI revolution had been predicting for a little while now that there was going to be a Coney's comeback, and God damn it, it's happening. Al has now won 3 weeks in a row after an absolutely abysmal start. She's really setting herself up for an attempted playoff run here. Like I've been saying, we got to cut this off, guys. We can't let this happen. Alexander Mattison, Sam Howell, and Jakobi Meyers are all names that really have no business succeeding on fantasy football rosters, but somehow Al's turning these guys into victories. Brennan, man, it's sad. It bums me out. Last year was a lot of injuries. This year, it's starting to add up as well. Justin Fields and James Conner going out. That sucks. And those are two of his best players. He did trade for another running back. Could work out, but that running back has so far fared fairly below expectations. So it's not great. Brennan did show some balls though. He really showed me something. He cut his namesake. That's the behavior of a ruthless fantasy football manager who's doing whatever it takes to win, no matter the collateral damage. And that just warms my fucking heart. Round this out, I have the best wide receivers. It's absolutely no question about it, but I literally have no running backs. They will hurt themselves as soon as they can. They will run on the field, stub a toe, trip on a sideline, fall in a shower, fucking anything. They're all hurt. I can't do anything. My whole bench is full of injured running backs. We're just letting it ride. So rounding out the grinders for this fantasy football season, we have Sean and TJ both at 3 and 4. So if Brennan, Al, and I are water above the mouth, below the nose, Sean and TJ are fully submerged, and they're trying to bob around, but there's a good chance that Jaws eats their legs in the next couple weeks here. This is really make or break time for them. Sean's actually overperforming, technically speaking here, and both of the TJs. Oh, I apologize. It's both of the TJs are 3 and 4. Bula's team is just so forgettable. Both of you guys' teams are so forgettable. We're gonna get to that in a second. So Sean's overperforming what his team was expected to do this year, and both TJs are exactly where we expect them to be, right in the middle, picking up a couple of wins, more losses than wins, just middling along. Not really picking up anyone interesting, not really making much noise throughout the league. Just in the middle. They're not that bad. They're not that good. It's like they're going 67 in the middle lane on 95. Nothing special. Cruising along. People are going to pass you up. You're going to pass a couple people. Safe. Boring. Cruise control. Yeah. So that kind of rounds this out. We have all the wins seemingly going to 2 people, and then the rest of the wins are all thoroughly distributed through the rest of us. With that, good luck to some of you, bad luck to others, and I will see you next week.